Okay. So the first thing we got to do is a lot of offsetting, right? I've already started offsetting these construction lines. Let's keep on with it. So offsetting these guys 1/4 of an inch wherever they might be needed. Quite a few. So that's what I'm doing right now. And that will also apply to these outer circles so that we can make their center lines. There you go. Try to get a hold of that guy. Might have to zoom in. I think I'm gonna have to zoom in to get him. Do that offset. There we go. Well, hopefully that's enough. If not, we can offset them as necessary later on. Boy, I think that's it. Okay, so let's do the basic dimensions here. Very simple. Just click on the corners and then the second offset line. There you go. So, and I did exactly what I talked about before when I did this. I marked off the ones that were on the drawing. You could consider that the engineer's notes. And, he's going to dimension it on his drawing the way he's going to want it, made. So you are going to want to try to adhere to their notes as closely as possible. Sometimes you got to do it differently, but all right. We got everything on the top view in place. Okay, let's go for the right side view now. And remember, there is no dimensioning to hidden lines. So that is a really important rule you don't want to break. Before I go any further, I'm going to draw the center lines because I'm going to need those for the dimensions over here. So I'm going to go into my center line layer and make those. And I would like to point out how I'm doing these circles, and I'm doing doing them separately first. And now I can erase those offset, erase those offset circles so that I don't have to, yeah. So doing it that way makes this nice little plus sign in the center, makes them even. Assuming you did it correctly, and I think I didn't. Look at this one, I went over too far. I'm gonna zoom in on that guy so you can see him a little better. And needed to make that line right there, it is. And then you can delete the outside circles that you use strictly for spacing. And what I want to do now is connect these center lines, but I don't just want to stretch one. If I stretch one, you can see what happens here. I lose the nice plus sign in the middle, and that nice little plus sign in the middle is worth keeping. We like it to be even. So now I'll just go to my line command and connect these like that. And that way I don't lose that that little plus sign. All right, let's finish this up. There's the one in the top view, and in the right side view, we got two of these to place. This guy here. And the one on the bottom, I'm going to have to offset this line. So I have something to click on. There it is. And now I can do that from there to there. Okay. So got my center lines in place everywhere. And all I got left to do is the dimensions for the main view here. So we will save the best for last, those notes. So let's get these in place. Make sure you're on the right layer. Now there are several ways to dimension a chamfer. And the way I have it shown, I'll be honest with you, is not the best. With this note over here. But the reason I have that note like that is because there is another chamfer, this one that's shown with a hidden line, that there is no way to dimension because it's never shown as an object line in its entirety. You see the side view of it over here in the right side view, but we don't really have the ability to dimension it correctly. So this note will have to suffice. So we're going to make that note over here, this 2x chamfer note, because fortunately they are the same. The other note we got to place is the one talking about this counter bore here. And these last dimensions I'm going to do right now, and that is the angled dimension, and I'm just going to hit these two lines to do the angled dimension, these two object lines, and then pull that off. There it is. You might say, well, why didn't you do it like they showed in the book, where it's touching the object line? You know, why don't you do that? And that is not good practice. We don't like arrows to make contact with the objects if possible. We like to, if possible, extend geometry off using extension lines. So that is why we do that. That cannot be done, of course, when you're dimensioning circles. There's no way to pull that geometry off. I should say holes. So that is what we're about to do here. Dimension this hole. And that'll do. All right, so let's talk about this one over here. I'm going to zoom in a little tighter so you can see what we're going to make. So that's what we're going for right there. And we're going to do it over here. So we have the diameter of the hole that goes through the whole thing, which is a small diameter. And that's how this would be made initially. You would drill this smaller hole, and then you would counterbore the larger hole to depth. So let's dimension that. I'm going to go with the diameter dimension, click on the small hole, and it comes off with the 750 diameter. But I need more than that. So rather than clicking, I'm going to type M for multi-line text and then enter. That brings up a text editor. I'm going to I'm going to arrow over to its right, and then I'm going to hit the enter button, the return button, and I'm going to start typing beneath it. And I have a few things to type. I have 2 symbols to type, and then the value 1.250, and then I'm going to hit enter again and type another symbol. All right, so how do you do that? Well, to do symbols, you come up to the top here and you click on symbol, and then you choose the one you want. Unfortunately, the one we want is not available here. So it's not used quite as often as these. So we need to click Other at the bottom. And then you get the menu that has everything. And the one we want to do is the very first, well, that is not the very first one, sorry. It's up top though. It's this AMGDT IV50. That's the one I used. That seemed to work pretty well. As far as the sizing was concerned, you can see it worked well. So that's it. You can see AMGDT-IV50. And now you just click on the symbol you want. So we want the counter bore symbol first, and that's this one. You click on it, you choose select, and then you click copy. So it's a 2-step or 3-step process. Click on it, choose select, then choose copy. And now it is on your clipping board, so you can paste that thing now by just typing Control V. So in your area over here, if I type Control V, well, you got to click in there and you type, there it is, it shows up, Control V. And I'm going to do another symbol. So right next to it, hit the space button. You know what, and before I do that, I'm going to select it and make sure it's the right size. So you can see it's not. So I'm highlighting it, and I'm going to choose the 0.125. Make sure you got it the right size if it's not coming up the right size. I'm not sure why it defaulted to smaller, but it did. So we want everything to be 0.125. All right, my next symbol is the diameter symbol. Click on symbols again, and that one is there. You can see it's the 3rd one down. So boom, pops up nicely. And again, you might want to select it to make sure it's the right size. So looks like it is, so that's good. And then the value, 1.250. Okay. And interesting, you might want to make sure you're in the right font. So although the symbols are in this AMGT IV50, the font for that is different. And we want our font to be the same as everything we've had. Not that the font on that one is not good, it's just not the same. So I need to go up here to my font and choose the font I've been using all along, which is just Arial, okay? And well, I didn't mean to click, sorry. But I can go back and edit it. Just double click on that. I have one more line to enter, and that is the depth. So I'm going to go back to my symbols, hit Other, back in the AMG IV50, and choose the depth symbol, which is right there. Hit select, then copy, and then come back and click in my window over here and type Control V for paste. And there it is. I'm going to select it. And you know, if you want, you can select everything afterward and make sure you got the right size and the right font. And that might be easier. I'll do that now. But anyway, with the depth symbol selected, right next to the depth symbol, type in the value 1.250. And now I'm just going to select everything and make sure I have the right size and the right font here. Just regular old Arial. You know what? Don't select everything because you don't want to select your symbols. So be careful. Just select the type and make sure that is what you're after. There it is, and the right size. Okay. So if you want to select everything all at once, you can make sure the size is correct. So everything would be, you know, the 0.1250, and you can change the value so that you can see it register. There it is. So everything's the right size. But only the, but when you select the font, make sure you're just picking the numbers and the diameter symbols. In other words, do not select the counter bore or the depth symbol, because if you select those and you choose Arial, I'll do an example for you right now, you're going to get the wrong thing because those are not available, you can see, on the Arial menu, and that's what happens. It actually changes. So don't do that. Make sure you just select the actual type to get the font correct. And anyway, once you got that looking good, you can select all of it and justify click on justification and choose the middle left. That looks good, and then check mark. Or you could choose top left. It's top left, check mark. You can see it. I guess that really doesn't change much. So that's how you do that. And we're going to do this chamfer one now. So that'll be a little easier. This is not going to be done with a diameter symbol. This is going to be done with just a regular old liter. So check this out. I'm going to click on liter, and then I'm going to click on the middle of that line, and I'm going to place it. So that was 2 clicks. I'll do that again for you. You click liter, click the middle of the line, and then click where you want it to go. And now it prompts you to start typing. So you have to, in other words, you have to place the start of the arrow, and you have to place then you place the end of the tail, and now you can begin typing. And it's going to be 2 capital X, enter button, 0.625, space, capital X, space, 45 degrees. How do you get the degree symbol? Well, you come up to symbol, and you choose degrees. There it is. And then lastly, you'll type out the word chamfer. And then select everything and make sure it's the right size and the right font. It is. And then give it the check mark. You might, I'm not sure if this justification is going to help too much. I don't think make sure you got it on the right side here. You want it to be justified. I got it on middle right. That's what's working. Middle right. There it is. Check mark. Okay. Let's turn off these construction lines and see what we got. See if they match.